I just loved working out and training people. And then when I would see like people like filled with joy when they'd see the results, or they'd see me a couple years later or something where they stopped training with me, and they're just like so thankful of what I was able to help them with. It feels good. It feels really good. And that was something I never expected.
And now for my next number.
I don't think y'all ready for this.
I'd like to return to the classics.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary familia. Welcome to the JTX podcast. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and non-binary familia, welcome to a brand new episode of the JTX podcast. I am your host, Jason Tamer, and this is episode 17 of the JTX podcast. Thank you so much for checking it out. Back in 2013, I started losing, 2014-13, I started losing weight, and you can go listen to one of the old episodes. I think it's Actually, I don't even think I've ever truly talked. No, I did. It's the weight loss catalyst episode, which link in the description below. I met this fucking phenomenal human being, who, in a sense, was part of my journey in losing the weight from 410 pounds all the way down to 230 pounds. And he's always been in my life here and there, but I decided that I wanted to have a conversation with him, and he gave me the honor of just talking out for about an hour and 30 minutes, everything that made him want to become a personal trainer. And without him, I can definitely say I wouldn't have learned the techniques needed to have lost the weight that I needed to lose. But without further ado, here is the personal trainer, my friend, Gio. Audio with podcasting.
Yeah, so I saw two episodes of you. One, you were talking about religion.
Which was with my friend, probably. Yeah.
But the audio sounded good, and then that was solid. And then I heard like another one before. I don't know if it was your first one or second, but
those were the horrible ones. Yeah,
like still practicing a little.
For sure. And I mean, like the first episode, it was out in the open, so there was like hella bad wind, and I didn't know how to maneuver everything. Like I didn't have a camera.
You were outside?
Yeah, I was outside, and like it was literally my first time in a sense.
Wow.
Eventually, I got to the point where I started doing more research, and I learned about what's it called, Audacity? No, what am I? Yeah, Audacity, which is what you record with. It's a free thing, and then Voice Meter, which is, you know how they have the actual level, like. You ever go to like a sound booth and they have like the level things?
I have never been inside a sound booth.
Okay, all right. So
I'll take your word for it.
They adjust the audio with that for sure, and so it's like a virtual one. It's also for free, and it's just practice. In the end of the day, that's always.
That's really what it is with everything.
Yeah, and I think the biggest frustration when I do record in general is just getting people. That's it, but that's
really?
Anyway.
Just get some like. Has that been like the toughest part? I'm sure that audio, but just getting.
It's just, I think, because a lot of people either they're not comfortable with how they sound or what they talk about, but in the end of the day, it's like you're just talking with people.
That's how I feel.
It's
like,
for fun.
Today, like I'm no philosopher here.
Yeah,
I'm here to have a good conversation.
Good conversation, and that's really what we're here for, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think in the end of the day, for me, especially with making a podcast, it's like everybody has their journey, everybody has their story.
Yeah.
Like what drives you to become who you are.
For sure.
Because, for example, like with you, I met you at 24. You were in a very different space than compared to how you are now.
Was it Bally's or was it 24?
Well, I met you in Bally's, but when I started working at 24, it was when like we really hit it off. We started talking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We were training together.
And those were great times.
Dude, when you were training like that, like when I was training you, that was the drive you had was it was solid, bro.
Well,
you were killing it.
I mean, but also like my drive back then isn't what it was. Basically, it was just like to fuck. Like that was my drive. Like one thing I always tell.
How's that working for you?
Now?
No, back
But
then.
oh, for sure. Like no, but it's true. I mean, you have to think about it this way.
Good. You're feeling good.
I was feeling good, and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I obviously got off everything because I ended up going to a job that was mainly sitting, and I was just in a very toxic environment.
Yeah.
And I ended up gaining like 130 pounds. So I lost 180. I ended up gaining 130.
Gained 130.
Dude, and ever since I left that job, it's been that journey again where what's my drive? What am I doing? Like, why am I doing it this time? Because in truth, I'm okay with being big, but I know that's not good for me.
Right.
And you've seen it yourself, especially with the people you trained with, where it's like a lot of people don't have that drive to lose or get to where they want to be, and they just give up.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's hard. I think it's hard because some like things like exercising isn't like you're not successful when you're forced into something.
True.
And that comes with like that in regarding to anything, I feel like. But if it's forced, like it's not gonna go well. You might push yourself for a couple weeks and then quit, just because you're turned off by it. Because
what's forced then? Like, what would you consider forced?
just if it's not your goal.
Mm.
I would say if this is not what you want to do, maybe you're just being told like, yeah, you need to lose some weight, or, some like outside, like friends just saying like, lose weight, or like
Just
encouraging you. Yeah, it has to come from you.
It really does.
sure.
It
It has to
really
come from
does. Yeah, you because it's that difference between the motivation and the drive, right? Like there's a huge difference where I'm motivated to lose weight versus I'm driven to lose weight. If I'm driven to lose weight, there's more of a reason for me to even do it. The motivation is very momentary.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm assuming for you never were into fitness like that when you were younger, were
When
you?
I started,
Well, when you were younger, or
not like lifting weights.
do me a favor though, bring the mic a little bit closer to you.
Sure.
Like,
I'm gonna scoot closer.
oh, yeah. Or you could just bring it closer if you want.
Okay.
Just yeah. So you weren't.
Not like I am now.
What caused you to want to get into like fitness in general? Because you did actual weightlifting to the point where you even did competitions.
Yeah.
So obviously it's all been that part of your journey.
Right.
But before that, what made you want to just, hey, like I'm gonna go into a gym?
Well, I grew up athletic. Like my dad was always like a soccer fanatic, so he involved me in like sports right away when I was younger. And I just grew up playing and being athletic, and it wasn't so much like it was just more exercise, just playing a sport, being part of a team. That was more of my hobby. But when I graduated high school, that was when I was like kind of lost because I was no longer on a team. There was no sports that I could really get involved with. And so I just wanted to do something that was active. And my mom signed me up to Planet Fitness right here in Daly City. And I started just going, working out. It wasn't anything as intense as I do now, but when I started, like slowly but surely I saw results, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. Like I would like check myself out in the mirror, and I'm like, wow, like this wasn't here before.
Six-pack coming out all of a sudden.
No. But it was a game changer for me, and I didn't think I really made an impact until I had friends that hadn't seen me in years and came up to me and were like, dude, what's different? Like, how did you just blow up like this? And that was like kind of like a switch for me. I was like, wow, so this is like working. Like, so if I keep this up, like I'm going to see more results. And it just became more addictive for me, I think.
Was there ever a point where you were just like, before you became a PT, was there ever a point where you were just like, I don't want to do this anymore?
Not when I was a PT. I would say
before you were a PT.
to stay like keep lifting weights or become a person.
So I meant like because you became essentially addicted to working out, to fitness.
Yeah.
But was there ever a point before you became a personal trainer where you were just like, I don't want to do this anymore, or it just led straight into I'm gonna become a personal trainer?
It kind of just led right into it because, like I said, when I had friends that would come up to me, they're like, "Dude, I wanna look like what you're like. I want to do what you're doing, like, cause you're on the right track. So, like, teach me, like, show me, like, what you're doing, cause I want to do it." And so that was pretty cool for me, like, to have friends come up to me and like ask for help, and I was like knowledgeable enough to kind of like give them a meal plan or like give them like a workout plan. So it was pretty cool, and that's what kind of encouraged me to become a personal trainer. I started at the airport, and I was working at the airport. And
Wait, you started working at the airport as a PT?
No. No. I was training the pilots. No. So when I was working at the airport and studying to become a personal trainer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming even at the airport you were moving a lot.
And that was wild for me because I was working on the ramp, so on the ground, so the tarmac. So I would bring in the airplanes, drive the airplanes out, talk to the pilot, like all that cool stuff.
Dude, my sister, that's what she does. She does ramp. I don't think she does about bringing like the airplanes in or anything like that. But she tells me the workout you do get just because you're moving bags after bags.
And it's hot sometimes out there, dude. It's hot.
I mean, even with like Bay Area weather, how weird it tends to get, man. Fuck.
And it gets super cold if you don't bring your jacket. And I would work like 3 p.m. to like swing shift, so like 3 p.m. to like midnight. And if you didn't bring your jacket, like later on that evening, you'd be freezing. It was rough.
So you became a personal trainer. This was with Bally's at the time, right? Yeah. What was it like having I would say like another human being? I don't want to say like you're taking care of them, but you do have their whole perspective and livelihood in a sense in your hands.
Yeah.
Because I was certified to become a PT. And obviously I would get people come to me asking like what you did because of so much weight and all this shit. But when things didn't go the way they expected it to, it's like, oh, your method didn't work. Or like I would get that. How was it for you when you first started off? Was it trial and error? Was it a lot of
trial and error? And also I'm a shy person. And so meeting
since when?
I don't know, just like meeting a new person and them telling you like this is what I need to work on, like, and like they're expecting me to like kind of change their lifestyle, get them to see results, like that is like in the beginning it was nerve-wracking, and plus I have to try to persuade them to kind of hire me as a trainer.
Yeah, well, you're marketing yourself, right? You're selling yourself to be like, hey, I'm the best.
Yeah, and that's why I was also working out, because I felt like you are kind of like the representation of you're like the walking advertisement, like pretty much, like you are trying to.
I mean, you were literally the walking advertisement. Like it got to the point where you were just on the walls with posters and shit.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool being on the poster of.
What was it? I went to San Diego and. For a business trip, and they had a out in Oceanside, I think it's called. So I went to the and yeah, I mean, obviously you were there.
That's the thing. I didn't know it went that far. I had friends that are across the bridge in Concord or wherever would send me pictures of my poster on the wall. But the crazy thing is, when I took those photos, the photographer said these were gonna come out within like the next 5-6 months. My poster didn't come out
until like years, bro.
I wasn't even working there anymore.
I remember you
and
left.
I was pissed. I was like, I could have used this.
I mean, you still could.
No,
you signed the waiver or some shit.
No, they never gave me some posters, so I just went to.
You asked. Oh, smart. Which, like, by the way, I mean they closed that one down. So regardless, they would have thrown it away.
No. But I was like, damn, I wanted more. But yeah, and I ended up on their website.
Oh,
Nobody, yeah. I ended up on their like front cover website for like a while, and I was like, dude, nobody told me this was gonna happen.
Bro,
I didn't even know I was gonna be on the front cover.
Even
like
worse, you didn't even get paid.
no, not paid like that.
Like
my
that.
gas to show up,
Bro, especially in photography now, I totally understand the whole, like, when you're shooting with someone, like, understand what you are doing, because it's true where I could shoot with somebody, and let's say hypothetically, right, I shoot with somebody, I don't go out and be like, I'm gonna advertise this, but they could potentially, if they're very up there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the sense, I don't do it for money, but I would have, quote unquote, lost money.
Yeah.
Because it's my photo. I at least wanted some acknowledgement that who I am and shit like that. But yeah, man, like, corporations in general, though, they can be hella shady about that shit, because they don't want to pay you. Like,
yeah, for sure. But yeah.
Are you good, or?
Yeah, I could always use a refill, bro. I got it. It's fine. But we went off tangent a little bit, but
that's this podcast. We go everywhere. It's a whole. It's like we go from one side to another to yeah. So.
But starting out as a personal trainer was tough because I didn't really have a game plan. I was just still like learning. All this was still brand new to me. I was only familiar with what I knew worked for myself, and a lot of the people that I trained were more of around my age frame. And so when I had like people like older upper 50s coming up to me and asking
Silver sneakers.
Yeah, shout out to Silver Sneakers. Yeah, a lot of my clients came from there. But it was challenge. It was fun. It was a fun challenge though. That's why like I liked just being creative and figuring out what worked, what didn't work, and I think that's just like the process of being a trainer for sure, doing anything. But there were some scary times. I've had it like when I first started working out, I didn't know what other people's capabilities were physically.
Ooh.
And so I would push them a little too hard without knowing. And
that would have some serious repercussions.
There's some repercussions, yeah, for sure.
It's one of the things that I don't know what company you're under. I did Nesta for my PT certs. Okay. And one of the things that they do bring up a lot, because obviously nobody wants to get in trouble, is like make sure that whatever the doctor's note is, like make sure they give you a doctor's note. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, man, people don't know their extent.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, like you have some, I don't want to say panic attacks, but like breathing problems or
people passing out.
That
happened to me. But yeah, it was.
I mean, I can't imagine.
That's how I learned, because one of the questions that I always started with before I trained people, after all that, was, "Have you eaten?" I would always be like, "Have you eaten?"
That's very true.
Because the people, there's two people. I'll admit it. I'll be honest. Two people passed out on me. But I would
just to be sure, you've been doing this for a long time. So disclaimer, he's been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
So
I've been a trainer for a good while.
So it's just two people. That's it.
That's it. No more. Nobody.
And in the beginning, so yeah.
Exactly. No fatalities here. But they would always be like, "No, I haven't eaten since like 5 a.m, or I haven't eaten since morning," and it's like already like the end of the day, and they're meeting me after they get off work, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna work like this.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this. You were working me out once, and my stupid ass decided to take pre-workout and a thermogenic.
Oof, I've done that before.
Yeah, dude, you don't. I'm assuming you don't remember that then.
Because I don't necessarily remember your situation.
So it was Alamani, and I don't know what we were doing. I think we were trying to do some back workouts, and then all of a sudden, I just felt my heart racing like a motherfucker.
It's scary.
Dude.
It's a scary feeling.
And I told you, I'm like, hey, man, like, I need to go puke.
Yeah.
And I couldn't puke at all. I was just, it felt horrible. Mm-hmm. And then you asked me, it's like, oh, can you continue? Are you good? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, we're good. Mm-hmm. Trying to do the back workouts. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
It's a scary feeling, because I remember when I was younger, I would always work out and I would take a either 5-hour energy. Because I would see, I don't know, I always kind of followed the big guys in there. If I saw like some guy that was bigger than me drinking a Monster Energy drink. I'm like, let me try that.
If you saw some guys snorting pre-workout, you probably
I
try that.
probably would have. Let me get some of that. But I took a fat burner, and I stacked it with like a pre-workout or something, and I just felt my heart beating out of my chest. Dude. And it was to the point where I was like, I gotta sit down. I was gonna start I think I called my sister. I was like, you know what? This might be it. I might die. I might die. I'm like, but I'm at the gym. I'm sitting down, but my heart's beating out of my chest. It was
It's a scary feeling. It's a horrible feeling. And a lot of people don't understand that. You know, when you read a label that says fat burner, people just say, oh, it burns fat, but you don't know what that property has. Yeah. Because the whole point of a fat burner is to heat up your body a lot so your metabolism can start being more active in the sense, right? Sure, yeah. And then if you take something else like pre-workout, which is to give you that extra oomph, your body, your heartbeat is just it's over, like I think
9,000. No,
dude, probably shit. What was it? I don't know. I've read of a lot of articles where people obviously did die because they did shit like that. Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the fitness industry, though. Like a lot of people are just seeing what these fitness gurus and all these people are like promoting, and so they're like, well, if they're taking this and they say it's legit and they're getting the results, and I want to resemble that look, so why don't I take it? But a lot of it's do your research,
and also a lot of it's like how long have they been doing that for? You know, they probably didn't know about a specific pill until way later in their lifetime of working out.
Yeah.
And just because they're taking it now and they're like they recommend it doesn't mean that, oh yeah, like you should do this. Yeah. It's all a process.
Yeah, 100%. Like this doesn't happen overnight. And I'm realizing that too, because like I've been working out maybe consistently for like 5-6 years. And when I started, I'm like, all right, 5-6 years, I want to be the biggest dude, and it don't work like that. It's a gradual process.
If anything, you ended up losing a lot of body fat because you were doing competition. Like you did.
That was another thing. Yeah, I did my competition. To talk about like me being turned off from working out again, that was it. That was it, because when I did my competition, I took it within like a 12-week notice, and at the same time I was promoting my Elksum Fitness personal training business. And shout out.
Yes. Shout out. Yeah, there you go.
Put the link.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the bio below. I got you.
Yeah. So that was like it was just strenuous. It was like mentally and physically like exhausting.
You were also taking these. What was it? Water. Basically, gets rid of your water weight.
Yeah,
water
so I'm
pill.
like flushing everything out. I'm not really containing anything really. And that was tough. That was hard. But the cool thing was during that process, it was a fun process though. That I enjoyed. It's an experience, I'm sure. And that's what I wanted to do it for. I also wanted to do it because I was promoting my business. So I was like, at the same time, like showing the results and like promoting it. So, but the cool thing was when I was posting all my photos on Instagram, I was hashtagging everything. And I ended up linking up with the a meal prep company. And so they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we're a new company as well. So we'd like to work together. You promote us. We'll supply you with some meals. And so that kind of helped with my prep for the competition, because like they'd be delivering me meals. Pretty cool. Very, very cool. And so that helped. But
well, let me ask you this then. From back then when you started to now, did you ever see yourself being at this point in your life where you do have your fitness company, you have helped, I would say even changed a lot of people's lives? Mm-hmm. Like, did you ever see yourself doing anything like that?
No, not at all. I just loved working out and training people. And then when I would see like people like filled with joy when they'd see the results, or they'd see me a couple years later or something where they stopped training with me, and they're just like so thankful of what I was able to help them with. it feels good. It feels really good, and that was something I never expected. I knew that I always wanted to do something where I could like kind of help or like do things for others, because I want to do something like that in my life, just to help others. Because my mom, she's actually a principal in San Francisco for special education.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she's able, like, I wanted to follow her steps with
Yeah.
helping the community. I'm not so much a very good teacher. I don't have that patience, but personal training does take some patience too as well. And so it's just an exciting experience to be able to help others and kind of get them to where they're trying to.
To be.
Yeah.
To be at.
And I've had like a lot of clients that have been dealing with life tragedies. Like a lot of them are coming to personal trainers for help in these certain times because they just want that
Do you?
change.
I don't know. Do you remember Brian?
Yeah.
PPT. Okay. So.
Yeah.
The PT.
Personal trainer?
Yeah. The personal trainer. Yeah. Trust me. But I'll never forget this one time where we were talking, me, him, and like some other people, and he said it perfectly. Where a lot of the times, personal training isn't as much as the physical stuff; it's the mental stuff. Because people just want to talk so they can have somebody to hear them out.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I felt like a therapist at times.
Dude.
All my clients, like, I would be training clients, and there's these gaps where where they're not training, they're either resting or like I'm just having a conversation to see how their progress is going. But they'll tell me about their life past, what's going on with their lives, divorces, fatalities in the family. I'm like, damn, this is deep. Like I'm just waiting for you to be ready for your next set. Like, and
I'm just a 20-year-old guy.
I was young. I'm like, I don't have any answers for this, miss. So,
The meaning of life? What?
yeah, I was like, I don't know. I've never been married before.
But it's true though. In a sense, it does grow you up faster because you start seeing the realization that the world isn't just one thing.
Yeah.
Different perspectives of different people. I can't tell you enough times where people would come to me because their husbands want a divorce, and it's like, bro. And mind you, I was just in the front desk, like,
and it's that trust. It's weird. They have that. There's like a certain like a friendship or like a bond that.
It's that culture too. It's that culture.
You become part of a community when and that's why I loved working at the gym, because I would see all the regulars and all of them were so cool. Like, I'm sure you have like a couple people that you can think of.
Even till now, I go to Daly City and people recognize me.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, do you know what time the gym opens?" And I'm like, "I don't work here anymore." Like,
let's close down. But
yeah, that sucks.
dude, I like that place.
You and everybody else, there really wasn't, because you left after.
I left before a lot of stuff happened.
A lot of stuff. So there was a point at that gym where obviously we would have closed down at any moment. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of the members understood that. But we worked hard to make sure they didn't close down.
Yeah.
And
were you guys notified or anything? Like,
dude,
there's a possibility that they might close down. Or do they say anything
well,
like that?
The biggest thing was we're not selling and we're a small location in a very unknown area. So
yeah, it's kind of like in the cuts a little bit.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Like nobody. What, at the time there was a Walgreens, and then the Walgreens closed.
I remember the Walgreens there.
Yeah, I fucking love going to that Walgreens. And now it was just like a Subway and Extreme Pizza, and that's it. And the apartments.
They actually opened a market, like a supermarket.
H Market or something. It's like a Korean market or some shit. Yeah. But I've never seen any notices. But my bosses would always be coming like, "Oh, we need to sell." Yeah. Because if we go down, like either we're gonna have to cut a lot of you, or worse can happen. Yeah. And we loved that place. We made sure that the culture there was made, because we understand that people go through shit. And eventually, shit fell apart because our manager ended up leaving. Mm-hmm. And people just who worked there started leaving. Yeah.
And that's why, like, I wanted to branch off and do my own thing as a personal trainer, because I had a lot of people that I would work with would say like, oh, like, I wish I could work with you longer. It's just, it's expensive. But personal training is expensive
In general.
It's almost like a luxury a little bit. Like it's an investment
100%.
for yourself.
Yeah.
And there would be a lot of people really interested in working with me, but they're like, it's just too much. And so that's why, like, when I kind of branched out, I was just like, I wanted to make this affordable, but at the same time, I want to also have like a profit.
True.
And so
And also,
wanted to start it.
you working in a corporate, you don't get whatever they charge. Like, I wish a lot of people did understand that too, where it's like, sure, it may cost thousands of dollars, but your personal trainer ain't getting that thousands of dollars.
And I was never like the top like trainer selling as much. I'm never not a very good salesman, but when I had the opportunity to like show you what I can do and how we can work together and achieve your goals, like I was successful there.
And that's why you were able to, in a sense, have people who did train under you to work out, like to train under you when you were out.
That's why a lot of the clients that I had when I was working at the commercial gym, they transferred over with me because they were happy with me.
You're in the good if you accidentally say the name. I'll block it off anyways.
Okay.
Yeah,
no worries.
You're totally
I
good.
wasn't.
Well, Bally's is gone, so it's all that matters.
Yeah.
Now, you were training for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
You branched off into doing your own thing. I did bring it up earlier where it was like, was there ever a point you wanted to stop? And obviously doing the competitions made you want to stop.
Yeah. I can go into that too.
I mean, that's my curiosity, because there are a lot of people who, myself included, just stop fitness in general.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Like, were you just deprived, or were you like, this ain't worth it anymore?
Well, I initially wanted to, so like I said, I initially wanted to do this competition to like kind of promote my business at the same time. And this was something that I've been wanting to do. Like doing a competition was like, was on the list for me. And I would always start, I would always drop the weight, but I would never be able to finish. I would never be able to like get to that point where I'd be stage ready. And it wasn't, I feel like, well, the help from my fiance, wedding coming soon.
Coming soon.
I was able to kind of reach that extra mile because I feel like having a partner is able to like just that extra push, especially when you're trying to like do this. Like, it's strenuous, it's hard, and I think having that motivation also does help. But
shout out to the partners, man. they really.
Shout out to the partners. But yeah, so after the competition, I felt like I was deprived. Like, I was eating like the same meals almost every day, like 5-6 times a day. Everything was like all timed. I was eating every 2.5 hours. I was doing morning cardio at 5. I was in the gym for almost like 5-6 hours a day. And
your own gym though.
So with my own gym, I have just the essentials, which I have for my clients. But for me personally, like for like the weights that I want to do,
you would go to a gym.
Yeah. And it was tough. It was, at the time, I wouldn't even think about it though. Like, I forget who I heard it from, but just doing my exercise, doing this routine, and not even thinking about it. Because if I thought about it, I probably wouldn't want to do it. Like, waking up 4 or 5 in the morning, like,
who's insane to even do a certain amount of meals each day, and it's the exact same meals.
It's almost identical. Everything's weighed out. Everything's strict.
Make sure you have this amount of protein, because if you go a little bit over or a little bit under.
Yeah. And it was cool because I was able to work with a coach who was also my friend. He was able to kind of guide me through it. But after and that weight is just not attainable. It's not realistic.
What was the weight? What was the weight?
Well, I think I was like 160, 170. And I dropped like 30 pounds. I think I was like 215, maybe 210.
And your body fat was like 6 or 7 or something?
It was single digit. I don't remember, but it was like definitely single digit.
It was single digit?
Yeah. And I didn't feel like I wanted to do it anymore. Like, I took a week off. I I think I lost my whatever six pack I had within the first week, because right after the competition, there's a place in Sacramento. It's called I think it's Baker's Donuts, maybe.
I think I've heard of it.
And they have like donuts with like Captain Crunch on them, bacon on
Like
it.
some outlandish,
Yeah. And I wanted like a dozen of them, and I just ate them. I destroyed them. And then,
Was there? Yeah, actually, that's a good question for me to ask. That was there a fear of you even gaining weight though? Like, were you scared
after? Yeah, no, I wasn't afraid. I was just like.
Obviously before, because
before
you don't.
I was because I was every Sunday I was checking in with my coach, and if I wasn't hitting a certain number, like I would be freaking out because like
you have a deadline.
I have a deadline, but after I just like wanted to like separate from the gym for a little bit, and there's like some thing like for a while like I was kind of almost I wouldn't say a little bit of traumatized because there would be some foods like I wouldn't want to
traumatized
like certain vegetables. I'm like I don't even want to eat it. I don't even want to try it right now. I'm like I'm over it.
Let me guess, quinoa or some shit.
No, it was more like spinach. I ate a lot of almonds and cashews for like the longest time, and I love them. But it was just like
too much of them.
Consistent, yeah. And I was just like, I'm over this food. But yeah.
But afterwards, you were just like, all right, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this anymore.
No. And that's the thing though. So it was like 12 weeks. I dropped 30 pounds too fast, and I lost all of my size. And that I think of anything that was the most like hurt. Like that sucked because like, damn, dude, I was at a good size. I was happy with it, and I was building, getting stronger, and I had almost felt like I had to start back from zero.
That's a weird feeling, isn't it? Starting back from zero in a sense. That's where I'm at right now. Well, I wouldn't say now. I lost 20 pounds since I started working out again, bro. I'm telling you. But because my highest was 410, so I guess it's not specifically zero, but it's 360, and you're like, where do I even start? Because nutrition is a big thing for sure, but also your gym time. Like you do need to get that muscle and like try to make sure that you're fit. You know, dude, I wanted to ask you. I'm trying to process the words to make sure I say it right. You as someone who's always been fit, someone who has always done this pretty much for a majority of his life. And I hope you know, like, I'm fat. So in case people didn't know, I'm fat. You
look good, bro. You're working on yourself.
Dude, fuck, bro. Like this shit
That's
is,
all that matters.
I'm big, but like, why do you believe a lot of people, especially now in 2021, there's such a negative connotation when it comes to being fit or losing weight or anything like that? Like you as someone who has been in this for a long time, who does training, like where do you think the biggest issue tends to lie with all of that?
I think, well, that's tough. I feel like nowadays, like all you see on Instagram and like magazines, TV commercials, like all these fit, good looking people, men, women, and they're almost like idolized a little bit. And I feel like that's off-putting for other people. The majority of, not everybody's as looks like that. It's not always realistic in some cases. And I feel like there's some outroar, like some pushback against that. And I don't always necessarily agree with I don't agree with all that, but I just believe in like people. I believe people in exercising. I don't believe like the answer is always like medication. Like I feel like there are some things that you can avoid. And avoid these medications that doctors prescribe if you live a healthier lifestyle. So that's what I always try to preach, especially with my clients. Like you don't gotta be like shredded. You don't have to be like just as long as you feel comfortable in your own skin, like you are able to feel good, be happy, like that's all that matters, But Yeah.
Do you think a lot of things are blown over proportion? Because the reason why I do bring it up is I sent you a message a few days ago where somebody posted that she lost a lot of weight. She decided to, I mean, obviously, like she announced it, but her worst fear realized that the world only loves you because you're skinny.
Mm.
Which for me, as somebody who has lost the weight, that's very interesting to ever
It
hear
is.
because I've never heard anything like that before. That's for me. It's like I don't necessarily see it as, oh, I lost weight, so now more people are gonna love me.
Mm-hmm.
It's more I've lost weight and I'm able to accomplish. Or for you, you were able to get your six pack and your figure, and you were able to accomplish something that not a lot of people can say
You're
they have.
becoming the better version of yourself, and it doesn't always have to be that six pack like we talked about. But,
No, of course not.
But you're bettering yourself. That's all you're doing, and I feel like sometimes that is also like people. That's backlash, you know. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Same.
And he talked about how Adele, you know, the singer,
Yeah.
how she had lost X amount of weight, and she looks great now. But there was a lot of people like upset, a lot of fans that were upset that she lost all this weight because I don't know if they thought that she only did it because she was being fat shamed or whatever. But she got a lot of backlash for losing weight, and I thought that was strange. I was like, why would you want to? She's doing this for her health. She's feeling better. She's becoming a better version of herself, and I feel like sometimes I don't know if losing weight is becoming I don't know if it's becoming like a negative, but I mean you're
If you ask me, losing weight isn't even becoming a negative. Obviously,
yeah.
like you do get benefits. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be in a different state, right? For me, it's the biggest thing is just like your perspective. What are you noticing from the world? Like for me, when I lost my weight the first time, I had every right to be like, oh, now everybody wants to talk to me because I'm skinny. But I also have to remember, not a lot of people even knew who I was.
Yeah. I think maybe in the beginning that's our mentality. Like for me, especially when I was working out, like when I started, I was like, all right, I'm probably gonna get like some numbers now.
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
looking good. But now, now that I realize it, like
Now that
I want to do
you
that.
you got a fiance?
Now, now I got a fiance. But I want to do this for a long time. Like I want to be like able to run around with my future kid. You know, I don't want to like be stuck like on the couch or like hurt because like my joints don't work.
It's definitely a horrible
That's
feeling.
now a fear of mine. I'm like, dude, I want to stay like fit. Like I want to be able to run around.
It's a horrible feeling when you're sleeping at night and all of a sudden you stop breathing out of nowhere. You're just like, what the fuck was that?
Has that happened?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds scary.
Bro, even recently, well, I came from the doctor's say because apparently I have asthma now. And
I saw that post.
yeah, dude.
Is that from the fires?
That's what she was saying. She was saying that it's because of the California fires. A part of me feels, because I was working at the airport at the time when all of this COVID shit happened.
You were working at the airport?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. I worked there for like 3 months. And somebody in my circle or who was working with me, they had COVID. They ended up getting COVID.
Really? And that's why you left?
Well, they had to lay all of us off because there was no point on this.
Really? What company was this?
It was, well, I can't say the company, but yeah, but let's say it's a airlines club.
Okay.
You know, like the clubs that airlines tend to have for their passengers.
That pay big bucks?
No. Well, because it's not with the airline. It's more of like a third company type of thing.
I've been inside those like
Oh, they're beautiful.
VIP rooms.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
You get like free liquor and snacks.
Oh,
That's nice.
Bro, and I mean, I was cool with everybody there, except the managers. But yeah, like they would hook it up, with a lot of shit. And I'm like, yeah, dude. Well, like,
That's the cool thing about well, for me, like being with a tech person, like we get some of those perks. Like she went out to Argentina for work a couple years ago, And so I flew out there with her. I was like, where are we going? Like, I feel like wherever they take her, like I
You got
gotta
it.
go too.
Especially with airlines. That's how it was with me and my sister too. Like, she wanted to go to Japan right before the year ended in 2020.
Man, I wanna
Well,
go to Japan.
bro, Japan is fucking
I want to
amazing.
go to Japan.
If you ever go, let me know. I will gladly be a tour
Yeah.
guide. But yeah, no, she has the perks where it's like you could travel anywhere, and I went with her. We were there for like 3-4 days,
That's
for
pretty
the
cool.
new year, and
Yeah.
it was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Those perks.
that's on the list, dude.
Where in Japan do you want to go? Do you know, or like let's? It's
have a
funny.
friend out there,
Every
too.
every person that comes on here, every time I bring Japan up, they're like, I want to go, and it's like we just talk about it.
So I don't have enough research to
Okay.
know what city, but Tokyo, I'm sure, is on the list.
Tokyo's fucking bomb. Like that's
Yeah.
the best place. And also I've been clubbing out there.
How's the nightlife out there?
It's pretty bomb. If you know how to dance, you're set.
What's like the dance? Is there like a dance?
It's just normal, like
two-step.
yeah, it's just normal. You know, they do have a lot of Latino nightclubs. Surprisingly,
Really?
I've been to them though, and
Is it? I was curious about the music. Is like
Well,
house. Or
the
is
music is house top 40 with a lot of the general clubs, but obviously they have specific, like here, you know how, I don't know if it's still open, like the Latin clubs out here, but they have them out there if you know how to dance salsa bachata and all that shit.
That's cool.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of Japanese people who dance bachata, but
That's a thing out there. Wow.
it's super small, but it's out there. Also,
pretty cool.
it's interesting too because, you know, like with us, it's like a lot of it is with the hips.
Mm-hmm.
Out there, I don't know if they can't.
What are they doing? Well, you gotta have those hips.
You gotta
Latinos have
exactly,
those hips, man.
exactly, and it's like when I was dancing with somebody out there, it
just
fell
genetic.
off. It fell off,
Yeah.
and I was like, all
They're
right,
missing a beat, huh?
pretty much. If it felt like that, but they
That's
still
all right.
had it
They're
though.
trying. Yeah,
they had
they
it.
got the passion for it.
No, exactly. They just need people like us to go out there and show them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Show them a little bit.
Show them a little bit. But yeah, the
Right.
nightlife's tight. A lot of bars, a lot of drinking. I've had my fair of adventures. I've been out there like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fluent yet?
Intermediate. Like I could get by. I
Okay.
could talk. Especially if, you know, I see somebody random and I'm just like, I just want to ask questions.
I think that's the cool way to do it. Just practice.
Yeah, but I lost it a lot too. Because I think the last time I completely stopped Japanese was 2016.
Mm.
Because I was taking classes, you know, I was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
college. Dude, like, I always recommend people go if you could go, especially with
100%.
now with things starting to open up. Hopefully, they start opening up.
Do you know how it's like over there with the COVID cases?
It's bad.
Is it really?
Yeah, no,
I thought it had slowed down.
they completely closed down. Like they're not letting anybody in.
Really?
One of my homegirls that does, she's a model. She,
Wow.
I know, right? No, she came back from Germany.
Uh-huh.
And apparently when she got off the airport, they escorted her to a different building, and she has to now quarantine in a hotel room for like 7 days, 7 or
Really?
10 days. Yeah, dude. Like if you're coming out from somewhere else, like you have to quarantine. That's
Yeah.
how bad it is. Also, I heard rumors that they're not getting their vaccines until 2022.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wonder where that is. What's up, government? What's going on
For
over
reals, right? Yeah, I'm trying to get my homies to come out here, like they're from Japan,
there? Uh-huh.
because obviously they're giving vaccines to like anybody left
Yeah.
and right, so
Yeah,
you're better off just coming out here. But it's beautiful, man. It's fucking
definitely.
amazing.
I know. On the list.
On the list, you have
For
friends
sure,
out
for
there
sure.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I have a friend that I'm cool with that is telling us to come out there. So one
Do you
day.
do you know where they're at?
I didn't
No.
ask, no.
Are they in the army?
Army? No, he actually
Okay.
is a citizen there. He's working for some type of
Oh
company.
shit!
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I thought it
Went
was.
to high school with them. and then
Nice.
He's got. I think his uncle lives out there, so he's.
Oh, he's in the good then.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Pretty
you
cool.
let me know.
Definitely. I will look
I'm
up
trying.
right
I'm
now.
trying to head out there for a good minute. But yeah, man, there's so much more involved in like losing weight or fitness than people tend to think. It's a journey. It's a huge journey, and I don't
It
think
is. It's a process.
it's a
for sure.
process, and I don't think a lot of people like they, for example, like I be posting my fitness videos and shit like that, but for a lot of people it's like, oh, he's just working out, but there is more to the workout.
Yeah. Sometimes even accountability. You posting it, like you seeing it on there, like for sure.
Where where do you see yourself like going with everything that you're doing with fitness?
Well, I'm actually kind of detouring a little bit. So I
Mm.
graduated last year with my kinesiology degree.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I'm wanting to pursue my master's in occupational therapy.
That's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I mean, I still want to work with people. That's always been a goal of mine. So as long as I'm able to do that, but yeah, I love personal training, but now I think I'm still training a couple people. Right now it's on Zoom. So
Yeah.
I when the pandemic hit, a lot of them just like kind of let's hold off, let's see how this goes. And I didn't really pursue any other additional clients. I just held on to the ones I had. Because that's what a lot of personal training is. Like once you hire clients, you got to keep looking for more. It's never, you always need a set of clientele. So, but I just stuck with the ones I have, and I'm just kind of doing some Zoom classes. I'm enjoying that. I work at a school right now as a gym instructor.
I totally see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm enjoying that as well. That's fun. But yeah, so I'm wanting to kind of continue my education, and I'm the least person to like school. So, but now that I like have like an idea of what I want to do, like the classes are more enjoyable for me.
Do you, when it comes to occupational therapy, do you have an idea of where exactly you want to focus on? Because, for example, when I used to work at a skilled nursing facility,
Yeah.
obviously it was occupational therapy, but a lot of them dealt with people who lost limbs or
Or even elderly.
elderly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, is there anything specific, or you're just like, I just want to help people?
Right now, I mean, the goal is to help people, but I just want to get into it with the program. But I see occupational therapists at the school I work at, and they're working with students. So it's cool, just like with writing or like even speaking. So there's a variety. There's different outlets that I can kind of pursue. Right now, I'm just kind of looking at my options and seeing what I want to like really focus on.
You're 26, 27? 27.
27.
Fuck, dude.
You know, it's
I
funny.
keep forgetting that.
It's funny. I almost like I forgot my age for a minute. Like I had to ask my fiance. I was like, "How old am I?" I was like, I don't really remember. I stopped counting.
Well, you kind of skip
I'm
a
not even
year.
that old.
You skip a year though because
Yeah.
of 2020, you know. So it makes sense.
It was So it was pretty funny. Like I forgot how old I was.
I don't know.
I wasn't even keeping track for a minute.
I don't know. I'll probably bleep it up. But how is Vanessa doing?
She's good. She's doing well. She's killing the game right now, man. Yeah. My lady's a hustler, and I think that's where I get my motivation from, because she's just like never comfortable in one spot. She's always wanted to try new things. Right now, she just opened a business with her sister.
Oh shit.
Okay. They just got charcuterie boards, and they're selling those. They have their logo on them. Her sister's coming up with a new project that they're gonna be working on.
So she's just moving.
She's moving, man, and I'm like, damn, like that's what kind of encouraged that. That's what makes me pushes me to do more. Like, damn, like she's killing it. Like, and I don't ever feel like if like I'm always supportive. I don't ever feel like if my partner's doing better or like in any category, financially or in a different position. Like, I don't feel like I'm like an insecure person to the point where.
Oh shit! Like, I
feel like
should cut her off.
I hear that a lot.
Dude, it's crazy you say that because recently, so I don't know if I ever told you. I used to be in the pickup artistry. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
So pickup artistry, long story short, people who use psychology to pick up, well, the opposite sex or whoever they're attracted to. So in my case, it was like I would learn a lot about psychology, and I would try to get phone numbers from women.
Pickupology?
Pickup artistry.
Pickup artistry.
It was very prevalent.
So it's just like
It's picking up, girl.
Picking up girls.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's funny? When I first started talking about being shy, like I've always been shy, but working out has helped me. But I forget what YouTube channel it was.
Simple pickup.
Simple Pickup.
It's because of them that I got into that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's been years.
Oh,
But,
there's a whole story behind all that shit. Yeah.
seeing, like, just watching them. Like,
Somebody, a dude who looks just
incredible.
like you. Yeah, dude who just.
they were like
They were normal.
Handsome
Yeah.
man, like.
Hey, like,
they were
how's it
just
going?
Super chill. They would use some like corny pickup lines. It was like, dude, how could you? The amount of confidence for you to just walk up. And,
I
like,
swear to you.
it took me a while.
Dude, I swear to you, they had a program.
Uh-huh.
I paid for the program, and I kid you not, I think I was 22.
Uh-huh.
I had my first kiss.
Nice.
2 days later, I had sex for the first time.
Hell yeah.
And it wasn't as much as that, like, I was manipulating. It was more of like I was genuine, and a lot of that shit came from them.
Because you have the personality, dude. You have everything what it takes. It's just like for you to express that. You're almost in. It's a vulnerable state for you to walk up to someone and
Just being like, "Hey, hi," because
Yeah,
you're afraid.
That's simple.
You're afraid of, what could happen.
Yeah.
You don't want to have somebody angry at you,
Yeah.
being like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
But it's understandable to an extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did shit like that. So I started with Simple Pickup, but eventually I got into more
Dude.
things.
Simple Pickup, man. That was the
Props to them
yeah, for real. Dude.
Where was I going with this? Fuck, I forgot where I was going with it.
Pickup artistry.
Pickup artistry, but before that, we were talking about. Fuck, I forgot it. See, now everyone's gonna think that he's a manipulator. No,
But
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started, like just trying to meet new women,
Mm-hmm.
like obviously like high school ends, so now what do you like? It's tough.
It
It's
is tough.
especially, and it would always be hard. Like those first dates would be so tough.
dude. What do you
First dates
talk
was just
about?
one on one. I'm like, fuck this. What do I even fucking talk about?
Like, how do I know if she likes me? I mean,
Exactly.
she came out here with
Yeah,
me.
and it was funny because I always felt like to impress or to like make sure that they like you, just take them to the most nicest restaurant. And no,
Sometimes it's not about that.
a lot of those times I never got a call back, and I'm like, she ordered the salmon. This
She made me pay extra for
Yeah.
this.
She bought a $30 plate. If Venmo was a thing back then, I probably would have asked.
We're going
damn money
Dutch.
back.
Yeah, for reals. But yeah, dude, it is about the mind. You could be physically looking amazing,
Mhm.
but that ain't gonna get you like what you want.
Yeah.
It's about how you think, how you are. Like
Yeah, it starts with you.
it starts internally.
Yeah.
All of this stuff starts
100%.
internally.
Yeah, like internal motivation for working out. Like,
Yeah.
you can't.
Or else you're done. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, once again, there's nothing wrong with losing weight. There's nothing wrong with wanting to better yourself.
100%.
But remember with the reasons that you're doing it for.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't quote. Like, do you know who Tom Bilyeu is?
Not familiar.
The owner. Well, I don't know if he's still the owner of Quest. He was the owner of Quest, like Quest Nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So he made
cool, yeah.
So he made like this big old company. But he talks a lot about tapping into the dark side, where it's using your anger in a sense, like the things that you went through as when you were younger, the things you went through probably through a breakup or things like that, for a momentary time when
Right.
you're working out. Because it's true, when you're working out, you don't want to do reps. You're just like one, and you're half-assing it too. That's the
Yeah.
worst part. When you're half-assing a rep and you could fucking break your back. You tap into the dark side, quote unquote, and it gives you that extra push
Yeah.
to keep going, to remind yourself of why you're doing
Yeah.
this. Because if you forget, I mean, all of your progress that you did, it was for nothing.
Yeah. I feel like for me too, like initially that motivation for me, like lifting the weights, was also like a breakup. I think a lot of those times is usually like a breakup for guys, like to kind of motivate them to work out more. And I'm like, yeah, so I get it.
Well, obviously you want to do occupational therapy.
Yeah.
Do you ever miss those old times, like those times where you were a PT, well, personal trainer in gyms and shit like that?
Yeah, I love being in the gym. Like even the gym I just work out at. Like I'm so cool with all the regulars. Like I see all the regulars there. I'm like cool. It's like it's a community. So that's why I like being in that environment. Seeing those guys almost like it's so daily. So then you get to know them pretty much. So it's pretty cool.
But I mean, like, do you wish? I guess the better question would be, like, is there things you wish you would have changed back then, when you were
As a
starting
trainer?
out? Yeah, when you were starting out, or during the time when you were a trainer.
Yeah, just more wisdom that I have now, I guess. But I think all of that's for a reason. You know, things happen for a reason. But
Do you think things happen for a reason?
I do believe things.
I
happen.
do not, but okay.
You don't believe in that?
No. I believe that there's a silver lining in everything. You know, for example, if somebody were to break up with me, I don't think it's for a reason. I think I can learn from it. I think that, you know, in anything that happens, there is a teachable moment,
Mm-hmm.
but it depends on you what you want to do with that.
Yeah, I think like when I say things happen for a reason, all those things that occur are, you know, lessons learned, positive or negative. You know, I don't. I don't also want to like have regret. So anything that happens, like I don't like holding on to grudges. I don't like holding like I try not to. That's why I don't like when I smoke weed. I feel like I get paranoid. I have like all these
Really?
thoughts. Yeah, I don't like smoking weed. I used to, but when I smoke, I'm like, damn, I should have done this when I was younger. Damn, I should have done that. That's why
I
don't
should
like
have I should have gone for her.
Yeah.
But and it's like in a sense it's like, this is the weird part for me. It's like, sure, if you would have done that, you probably wouldn't be where you're at right now too.
Yeah, I mean those exes that you've had and the exes that I've had. I feel like, you know, things like when I say things happen for a reason. Like I don't see myself being with them. I don't think we were compatible at the time. Sure, maybe because we there were things that we had in common, but down the line when you're actually evaluating that person, like can this person be a mother to my children? Can this person be a long-term wife for me? Like,
Will this person
didn't see
push
them-
me?
Yeah, exactly. Like the push, like the drive that they have within themselves, like all those things come into play, and I'm like, wow, like it just wasn't gonna work, you know?
Dude, I mean, in the end of the day, I just give you props.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that yeah? Go for it.
No, we're good, we're good.
You're good. I do give you props because I've definitely, it's been on and off, obviously, like how we've seen each other,
Yeah.
but I've seen that growth in you. Like, definitely, you are not the same Gio who, back when I had lost my weight, you know, we would talk and shit, to now where you're more expressive.
Sure.
You're more like, I am happy where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Because that's the beauty of life, right? Like,
Definitely.
you the growth, to be able to see your growth, and then having other people see that growth.
Yeah.
And there's one question I want to ask you, but that's my last question usually that I ask in all my podcasts. But before I ask that question, is there anything you want to ask me? Anything?
When we met, do you remember what you said to me when we met at Chipotle? I brought it up. Well, not what you said, but when I met you, you're like, you went something like this. You said, I get feelings when there's someone here. Or like
Oh yeah, I had a feeling somebody I knew was here.
It's trippy because like for me, I sometimes when I'm thinking about someone or like damn, I should reach out to this person. Like they end up texting me or like I like somehow we connect. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, that's so. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if there's some energy in the air.
It's weird. I'm an atheist, so but like to an extent, I would. They have you. I don't know, in Japanese cultures, when somebody is talking about you,
Yeah.
Usually the other person that's being talked about sneezes out of nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, it's a weird, like, that's when you sneeze, it's like, oh, someone's talking about you.
Yeah.
Well, not, probably it's an Asian culture also, but
Maybe.
um I am a firm believer that when you have a connection with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it's vibes. It's like you share, regardless of how much you share. It's like it's a connection. It's a strong connection.
Yeah.
Because I've had it before where somebody I knew that I was attracted to, I texted her out of nowhere, and it would be like these deep philosophical quotes,
Yeah.
and she told me, she's like, that's something I needed at that moment.
Mm.
And I was like, oh.
And you didn't know her situation?
I didn't know her situation. And she,
Yeah.
like, fairly recently, she would tell me about, like, her situations and shit. But she was like, yeah, like, you know, I was in a dark spot, and what you sent me was just something that out of nowhere I just really needed.
Yeah.
So I do believe, you know, certain people that you have a strong bond to,
Yeah.
regardless of how much y'all hanged out before, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's an actual bond.
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes things happen for a reason.
I mean, look.
I'm not saying like I failed my test. I'm like, well, things happen for a reason.
I mean,
But-
it's you know, I guess if I were to go more into it, it's like, it's not that as much as that things don't happen for a reason. It's just more of like, I think only specific things in life are supposed to happen to you.
Fair.
And for example, obviously you're supposed to die and you're supposed to be born, so you're supposed to live.
Inevitable, yeah.
Inevitable. Those are inevitable. What are the other things in between of that? I tend to say it's usually 5. So, you know, maybe some people would say it's, you know, you're supposed to love somebody. Not everybody grows being in love with a significant other.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Sometimes not their thing.
sometimes,
It's not having their thing sometimes.
or sometimes they didn't work on themselves enough to be able to find that significant other, or maybe they lost the opportunity.
Yeah.
Maybe you were supposed to work at a specific place to teach you lessons, but we don't truly know until years later when we're in a different spot
Yeah.
in life.
Where you're just kind of evaluating what everything.
I could definitely say for me, it was like I had a relationship in 2017, and that shit broke my heart because I really liked this person a lot. And don't get me wrong, at the time I was a quote unquote player, but after the breakup, because I was changing all that when we were together, but after the breakup, it was like, I can't do this anymore. I
Was that
can't.
your first breakup? Like your hard, like
Hard,
hit?
yeah, like it was.
Those are tough.
It was a legit depression. Drinking. I mean, when I went to LA with you to Gold's Gym, we were supposed to go together that time. Like,
That's right. You
we were
went to
gonna.
Disneyland too,
I went to
right?
Disneyland. We were
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
go to Disneyland together.
Mm.
But the crazy part is that I had bought a Polaroid camera for both of us, and I just shot the whole time. Fast forward to now, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
I never thought about photography at that time.
At that time?
Ever.
Really?
Ever. Like, as a kid, my dad had cameras and shit, and he would,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how to shoot a camera. A
That's
Polaroid,
crazy,
you know? And now it's like I shoot with amazing human beings. Don't get me wrong, though. It is difficult because when I do find somebody that I probably want to have a relationship with, it's difficult because of the type of photography that I do.
When you're, like, you've had like people that you've photographed that you've wanted to be.
No. It's more of like when I find somebody that likes me, not in the photography world, like outside, right?
Yeah.
And they want to have some type of relationship with me.
Yeah.
It's like I also photograph naked women,
You do?
and they don't like that. So it's difficult for them to want to be with me because all of a sudden they think that I am with them, that I am doing things with them. where obviously, much like you were saying about your personal training, where it's a professionalism fine line, it's the same with me, where it's like, this isn't me wanting to do shit with them. This is me capturing something that we both find beautiful.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why even now it's like it's been difficult for me to be in a relationship.
Really?
Extremely difficult. Like I'm sure you know, but I just recently broke off with my girl.
Oh, okay. For how long were you together?
It wasn't that long, bro. It was like 3 months.
Okay.
Like legit.
But was that the reason why you two split?
I don't know. We broke it off in a way where it wasn't, where the communication wasn't there to truly know what it was. I wanted to work on it.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to see, but she just didn't communicate.
Done.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going back to the whole thing where it's like, I think there are specific things that should happen in your life for a reason. I do believe there's specific things, but I don't say everything or every other thing, or like I think it varies. It's a very small number.
Yeah, but like that experience where you started just photographing, I think that's a crazy story, you know? Like, because you still went out to LA, you know, by yourself. Like, there's a lot of people, like, I don't think I would have done that. Like, especially after something like that.
A lot of people were like...
committed.
Yeah, I committed.
You committed to it. And there was, like, a kind of life-churning, like, rerouting you in a way that you're now pursuing some photography. Like, photography is an art, and you love it. It's a passion.
A lot of people were like, you should cancel the trip. Or other people were like, just... take somebody else with you.
Did you ask anybody?
I asked this one person. Obviously they said no. And then I talked to my best friend, but he just didn't.
Couldn't make it.
Yeah. So I was just like, I could cancel it if I want to, but I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I decided.
See, that's cool, dude. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, doing trips on your own is, like, also another rare thing. People don't like doing... Me, personally, it's hard for me to do a trip on my own. I need to be with someone, friend or, you know, significant other.
Well, yeah, because you're by yourself. You're in your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And when you know yourself a little bit too well, your thoughts become the better of you sometimes.
Yeah. But for you to do that is super, like, cool, man. And it worked out.
Yeah, I would say it worked out. But also, you have to understand that I've done shit on my own by myself before.
You've done
I've gone to Japan. Pretty much every time I've gone to Japan, with the exception of this last time, I went by myself.
Yeah.
And you people out there, don't get me wrong, but I've done stuff on my own. What was it? I think back in 2019, I went to Joshua Tree spontaneously on my own.
Is that up north? Or is it, where's that at?
Nevada.
Nevada? Is it Nevada? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was still in California.
It's like in the border of California and Nevada, but it's Nevada. You know, I'm used to it.
Same thing with my lady, dude. Like, I don't know how she did it. Like,
swear.
she went to Czechoslovakia.
Ooh, by herself? Czechoslovakia, yeah.
Somewhere or Prague. She went to Prague.
Okay.
I don't know if those are two the same, but
by herself.
I'm like, dude, like.
There are stories. I mean, like, yeah.
I'm like, that's wild. Like, I would have never just traveled across the world like that by myself. Damn. But kudos to you both. Like, I don't know. It's a different, that independence, that drive, just to, you know, do, you know, you're comfortable with just doing that all on your own. You don't need anybody like that. Like,
well, it's uncomfortable for me. It's uncomfortable in the beginning, but eventually I get into it.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, hell, dude. Maybe before you get married, you should do your own trip on your own.
Maybe.
You know.
Yeah. She'll let me, bro. Where the hell you going with that?
You went to Czechoslovakia by yourself.
I wanted to experience.
I just want to be like you.
Wouldn't know what it's like.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty cool.
It's been fun. Life.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. It's fun.
This adulting stuff is interesting.
Oh, dude. I mean,
I'm constantly learning, but it's.
I mean, before you know it, you're gonna be 30.
It's not something. You know, she's gonna be 30 soon.
Yeah, she's all. Yeah.
And she's a cougar.
She's cool.
Yeah, she's a cougar.
She's good. Yeah. Oh, she's Latina. She's Latina also.
Yeah.
Es un tigre.
But it's cool. Yeah, things are good. No complaints.
All right, last question.
Okay.
All right, cool. So the reason why I made my podcast was obviously everybody has their journey. Everybody goes through their own life struggles, their wins. But there's always a catalyst. Do you know what a catalyst is?
Remind me.
Okay, cool. So scientifically speaking, a catalyst is a chemical that makes another chemical react faster versus it to be on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But human society speaking, a catalyst is a person that makes another person grow faster than if they were to go through their own experience. I can bet you right now there's a lot of people who have gone through what you're going through, or probably, for example, might be not physically in the way where they would want to be.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you've learned in life that you've taken so far that you would give as advice to anybody that's listening right now?
Just finding that support. I think family's big. Your significant other is it's important. I feel like, you're never too strong to need help, like in regarding to anything. Like me finishing school, like I don't think I could have done it without the support of my family, because I get that financial support, or any like family sometimes will never let you fail, and you have them to rely on. And I'm just grateful and appreciative of having a circle, because I don't really have a big circle. I have some friends, some close friends, but like I don't know. I don't have like those group of like close friends that I have, but like I can rely on my family for sure, and my significant other. Call her my best friend too. She's definitely like super supportive with everything that I do. So without them, it definitely would have been challenging. So those people that you have like that support, like stay close to them. Like I'm sure there's times where you want to be independent. There's times where you want to do things on your own, and I think that's always good. It helps build character, and you can succeed, you can fail, but you'll know what it's like. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, having that circle, having those close people around you, like, will help you get far, for sure.
It's really hard for a lot of people to, especially people who have been alone.
For sure. I agree. And like the life lessons they help you teach, like I've learned to like not hold any grudges, to not let hate kind of consume me, especially when those do you wrong or anything like that. Like if they're not meant to be in your life or in your circle, like then that's it. You don't have to live your life hating those people, or like hating those that like have kind of like
left, or you don't
have
to be begging
like,
also.
Yeah. It's just too much. It's stress on you. Like you don't want to be up late at night thinking about like why you're holding onto this grudge. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it when you're trying to live life.
Do you feel that that's ever gonna change, probably in like a few years for you? Or do you feel like that's a foundation in you?
I try to keep that foundation for sure. It's funny because me and my lady are kind of different in that she loves hard, but if you're not able to kind of sometimes reciprocate that, then she feels like, well, there's no necessity, like you're not kind of contributing, or you're not showing me that same love or that same like kind of emotion back in return. And so she's easy to kind of like move forward without you. And I'm like, well, sometimes that can be family. There's my family, like my parents have had fights, like strong fights with their siblings.
Guatemalan blood right there.
Yeah, for real. But I know at the end of the day, like if those siblings ever needed them, I'm sure they'd still come back. My family would still open arms. And so it's tough because she's like getting a balance of me and she's still keeping a balance of her. But like I think that's the cool thing, you know. That's why I love. It's all about dating or being with someone like almost completely different from you, because you bring more to the table. Like I wouldn't want to be with someone who's like almost identical to like the habits or anything that I do.
Yeah, because then things get boring.
Yeah, things get boring, for
Yeah.
sure. And so I think that's what keeps things exciting.
Well, with that being said, I mean, honestly, thank you first and foremost for even coming like out here.
Oh, dude,
Dude,
I live like 10 minutes from here.
I,
So much fun. Thank you for having me.
it's definitely like if you ever want to do this again, I'm totally down. Just
Dude,
talking about
hell
shit.
yeah.
But
This was fun.
I hope you know that for me, you've definitely made an impact in me.
Have I?
Oh,
man.
extremely.
Man, that means a
Dude,
lot.
it's because, and I've brought it out, like I've talked about it in the podcast where, yeah, like I'm not who I am now. I am an entirely different person. But a lot of that really stemmed from seeing different people, seeing different views of how people act. And the things that you would teach me when we would work out are things that I still utilize to this day. Like even the amount of protein that I should be taking every single day. For me, I still use that as a measuring in my mind. I still use that.
For sure.
And you know, I hope you don't ever doubt yourself in any way about anything. But if you ever do, remember that you have had a big impact in my life.
Much appreciated. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I genuinely appreciate you, Gio.
I appreciate your friendship, man.
I appreciate your friendship too, man. So, usually this is the part where it goes into a whole different thing, but genuinely, like, thanks, man.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you for having me. We can finish this bottle next time.
Oh, dude, for sure. Oh, shit. For real. That is it for the JTX podcast, episode 17. Once again, if you want to check out my stuff, please feel free to go to www.jasontamer.com. You will pretty much find everything I do in anything. Another thing is Instagram.com/Jason Tamer. You can see all my photography on there. And lastly, don't ever forget, we've done shit, we've been through shit, and we've caused shit. That doesn't mean we can't change today to be somebody's catalyst for a better tomorrow. Take it easy, y'all.